Oh, yes.
So
Hi.
hello and welcome everybody, and welcome to this edition of Let's Talk About Life. And today we're going to talk about judgments. Are we on top of our judgments, or are we being the effect of judgments? Are we like buried underneath the judgments? So welcome to everybody who's joining me here on Zoom, and to everybody who's joining me on Facebook, and who will be seeing this in the future. Thank you and welcome. So, before we talk about the topic in hand, every month when I do this, I also am very happy to, address anything that anybody requires any facilitation with. So, before we go ahead with talking about judgments, is there something that anybody would like any facilitation on or requires some input on? Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Or if you'd like to share something that has shifted for you, changed for you from the past conversations that we've had over the last few months, then share that too. So,
May I?
yeah, sure. Go ahead, Pinky.
Hi. I basically have a problem asserting myself,
Okay.
and that is creating havoc professionally and in each and every relationship where I can't put boundaries and say, enough is enough. I will not take your shit anymore, and being taken for granted.
All
So,
right.
how do I break out of this?
Okay. So, what stops you from setting that boundary, or what stops you from speaking up?
I guess it would be conditioning that, you should be being the older daughter-in-law, you should be more accommodating and, make things easy and welcoming for others and, stuff like that. So basically, I guess it is a whole lot of values that we have learned, as to uh, be forgiving and be kind and, don't be self-centered. And being self-centered or loving oneself was akin to selfishness when we were kids. We were always taught, oh, you can't go to someone's house, supposing we are guests somewhere. And you can't say, oh, I would like, you wait to be offered food. You can't just go and help yourself to the whole bowl of wafers,
Sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think this is what could be.
But with regards to setting boundaries, if you spoke up for what you required, what would occur?
So, what has been happening in the past is that whenever I have tried to, there has been a heated argument about how I am wrong and how I cannot demand, and a whole lot of things with no support from anyone else. As in, like people tend to take sides, and you are like, oh, you know, things like that.
Good.
So then I don't know, how do I go about it?
All right.
Like, how
So,
do I just clearly tell someone that, supposing now as an associate creative director, why should I be doing proofreading when there is someone else who should be doing it and I should be just overseeing it?
okay.
It's not my core task,
All right.
so to speak, as an example.
All right. So, let me ask you.
And then judgments come in. It's like, then it becomes conditional, right?
Right.
Hello?
So, as you were growing up,
Yes.
how much did you value you?
Not at all.
And what kept you from valuing you? What is your point of view about you?
It used to be earlier that being an only child and being very lonely, I always thought, that I don't make a difference to anyone's life
Correct.
as a child.
Right.
But
So,
later on, when I started getting recognition in college and things like that, I began to feel that, each one has one's own uniqueness and being good at things, and then I joined advertising and things like that.
did you
And again, this neighbor whom I used to always look up to, she kept telling me,
did you start
"Just
valuing?
by-" Sorry,
Did you start valuing you?
start valuing. Sorry, I didn't get you.
Did you start valuing you?
Yes, a little more than as a kid.
A little more. So give me an example of you valuing you.
If I don't want to get up early,
Do
I
you
will
do you compliment yourself? Do you compliment yourself?
sometimes once in a few months,
Once in
maybe.
a few months. Okay. So normally, our point of view creates our reality. So if I am not valuable in my own eyes and I make no effort to value myself, then it tends to get reflected in my reality as well. Our point of view creates our reality.
Right.
Somewhere deep down, I myself do not, honor myself or respect myself or value myself. Then
Right.
generally that's how it also shows up. Your results or your life is always showing you what your points of views are. So like, for example, for me, my point of view was nobody cares about me. All right. I don't really matter to anybody.
Same
So,
here. Exactly what I felt.
right. So as long as I had that point of view, I had my life creating those kind of scenarios for me where I could, where I could be justified in having my point of view as, my point of view is right. See, nobody values me. So basically, I would invite you to destroy and uncreate everywhere you have decided that you don't matter or people don't value me, and also start looking at valuing yourself more and appreciating yourself more, acknowledging yourself more, so that you in your own eyes are, you've got to be the most valuable product in your life. And when you see yourself as somebody, who is valuable, somebody who is, someone who needs, who can be appreciated, and all of that, then you will see that you will get that in your environment too. So everywhere you have devalued or undervalued yourself, will you destroy and uncreate it, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So the sentence that I just spoke, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, this is a clearing statement. To know
From
more
Access.
to know more about it, you can go to theclearingstatement.com. And
Okay.
this is part of Access Consciousness work. And
Right.
Access Consciousness is a 30-year, over 30 years ago. Actually,
Yes. I had been to one such from Ashish.
all right, thank you so much. So about like a little over 30 years ago, Gary Douglas, who was the founder of Access Consciousness, he basically, brought this to the world that, you know, if there's anything that we would like to change in our life, you can use this access clearing statement. It's like that magical wand which can change, things for you. And all of change begins with us changing ourselves, us changing the points of views that we hold in our heart, in our minds, and what we really believe. So if you believe that people are mean, if you believe that nobody cares about me, then that's what will show up. And you will say, I feel very justified because this is what actually happens. But life doesn't happen to you. You are a creator of your own life. All of us are creators of our own life. We're very powerful, infinite beings. And, this is something that I learned as I started going for Access Consciousness workshops. So Gary Douglas, who's the founder, and Dr. Dane here, who's the co-founder of Access Consciousness, they facilitate some amazing classes. And I've attended like many Access Consciousness workshops. And gradually, bit by bit, as I started changing my own points of views, like anytime I would see a point of view in my own life, I would say, okay, everything that is, I destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And I let go of a lot of points of views. And as I started cherishing myself, treasuring myself, honoring myself, having gratitude for myself, treating myself with regard, I saw that people in my environment also started treating me like that, So it's like if there are two things lying in your house, one is like a very nice diamond, and one is like just a piece of stone. And if both need to be taken care of, by and large, we will tend to take extra care of the diamond, right? We will not like pay attention to the stone. For all you know, we'll throw out the stone, but we will take very good care of the diamond. So depending on how you treat you, that is what everybody sees. So if you're treating yourself like that diamond or like something precious, then people see you as that. People see you as precious. But if you yourself are not treating you well, then that is the signature, that is the energy signature that we put out, that I can be treated anyhow because this is my point of view. Your point of view creates your reality. Please remember this. And also the other aspect is that when we would like to put a point across that, hey, this is not working for me, there are two ways of doing it. And very often we do it from the place of judgment. Okay? Like what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing is bad, and I think you're horrible, and I think you should know this, or, I want you to know this, and this is how I would like to be treated. But you're doing it from a place of judging the other person. And when we judge people, what automatically happens is there are these energetic barriers that come up. Very often it's very difficult to receive judgment. If somebody is judging you, you tend to kind of clam up and you put a barrier up and you can't receive the judgment because, you feel not so good about it. And so similarly, when you judge somebody, there's an energetic barrier that comes up and they may not be able to receive that judgment, and they will go on the defense and they will not be able to receive whatever it is that you're trying to say. So when we would like to invite change, what works wonders is to invite that change from a place of no point of view and be that kind of space where it's not cluttered with judgments, and you can, convey a point and it can be received because it's not coming with, these massive judgments along with it. So I would recommend that, when you would like to be received by somebody, be willing to convey what you'd like to convey from the place of what energy, space, consciousness can I be to, convey this in a way and in words that the other person can receive and hear, and also with no judgment at all. And also not from the place of being vested in the outcome. So when you're not vested in the outcome, you're like, it's not like, oh my God, I hope this doesn't happen, I hope that happens, because what you resist persists. So when you're resisting not being received, that's what will occur. So be willing to be received, not received, however it will show up. And if you then have that conversation, that dialogue from a place of no point of view, then you can create some very amazing different results. So my invitation to you would be first to really start appreciating you, acknowledging you, and see the value of you. Let go of any points of views that I don't matter, nobody listens to me, everybody takes me for granted. Although you may say, yeah, but that's what happens, but it occurs. Nothing happens to us. Everything is our own creation with our own beliefs. The beliefs may have come from this lifetime, another lifetime. But the fact is that it's occurring. So if it's occurring, there has got to be a point of view somewhere. So I would invite you to look at your point of view and change that point of view, and be willing to receive all the love, the support, the attention, the caring, nurturing that you require. But you have to start with yourself. Our prime relationship is with ourselves. And if we can't do that for ourselves, nobody else can, even if they can for you, but they will not be able to because you don't believe that for your own self. So that would be my invitation to you, Pinky. Okay.
Smriti, hi, Nita here. You said one clearing
Yes.
about uh, everywhere you have undermined something. Can you just repeat that clearly?
Yeah. So I said everywhere you have undervalued yourself.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. We so often undervalue ourselves. We so often berate ourselves. And we don't even realize that we're doing it.
Yeah, my friend is here with me. She wants to ask a question to Smriti.
Sure.
Hi, Smriti.
Hi.
Smriti,
What's your name?
my name is Shilpa.
Hi, Shilpa.
There's this feeling of or a judgment of unworthiness. No matter how much, like I recently had this experience where I was really, I felt like I was really received for who I am, but the guilt of me not doing certain things right or feeling like I don't deserve this, these things, like I feel like the universe is bestowing that acceptance and care and love, but it just lasted like for 2 days, and then somewhere I just started feeling a little more. Uh, I still have that feeling of unworthiness. It feels like, I don't know. It feels like a place where what do you say? Some scared or fear of not being able to let go of that. I don't know what's stopping me from letting
So
go.
if you let go of that, would you be less pathetic?
Of course, of course, yes. I get the sense, but then I don't know. Like it just keeps. Uh, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just.
So it's a big challenge for many people, like including me. It used to be like that a lot for me, not now, not anymore, but up until now. Okay, up until now, Shilpa. Uh, you know, that belief, that old belief keeps kicking in. You know, we are very addicted to polarity. We are very addicted to being right, being wrong. All right, it's a common affliction. And as long as we are addicted to being right and being wrong, it's very difficult to have any other possibility because we want to be stuck in either of the polarities. So every time you see that sense of unworthiness coming in,
Mhm.
you've got to go back to, okay, everywhere I have that point of view about myself, I destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, person, beyonds. And the more you let it go, because there'll be layers and layers of it, you'll feel great about yourself for a few days, and then that old belief system will again kick in, or another layer will kick in. So each time, if you let go of it, if you destroy and uncreate it, gradually over a period of time, you'll see that now it's not occurring so much anymore. And simultaneously, if you be congruent in your actions as well. So not only do we destroy our points of views, but then we also need to be congruent in our action. So do I treat myself well? Do I see my worth? Do I appreciate do I appreciate myself with my flaws, with my strengths, with my ugly, with my beauty, all of it? Can I receive myself? So what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can you and your body be to perceive, know, be, and receive the infinite being and the gift that you truly be?
Oh my God,
Everything
that
that doesn't
sounds
allow that Will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Oh my, that sounds like a humongous.
So,
uh,
will you destroy and uncreate it?
yes, yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So, what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can you and your body be? To perceive, know, be, and receive the infinite being and the gift that you truly be. And everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Nice. And
Right,
yeah,
bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Yes, Shilpa.
yeah. I mean, I feel. I mean, it's nice to hear from you that these. It's okay for me to like feel that way even once it's gone. Like, you know, I felt like absolutely I was basked in that. In that feeling of yeah, it felt like I was not going to feel unworthy anymore. Okay, that was the first time ever I felt so like, you know, loved and accepted. And after 2 days it kind of kicked in again. That's mostly from the space of the wrong that I was feeling, because I saw myself judging a lot of people. So
Yeah.
like so, and then it's nice to know that it keeps coming, and then it's just like for you to kind of stay with it, let go every time, and be
Yes.
congruent with it.
And also keep looking at how much do you judge yourself? And every time you notice that you're judging yourself, okay, interesting point of view that I have this point of view. And everywhere I have this point of view and I have this judgment of myself, I now destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, online, shorts, person, beyond. So the more you will stop judging yourself, the greater space you will be. And, you know, the more you will step into being that infinite being, the more you will receive you. When all of this will occur, you will notice that, you know, everybody around you can receive you so beautifully. But you've got to receive yourself first.
Yeah, that is the struggle for me. I can see people around me asking so much of love, but sometimes it gets so difficult for me. But thank you. Yeah.
Oh, being loved, pampered, supported is like not so good.
Not so good. Okay.
So, you know, so when you are being loved and pampered and appreciated, how does it get any better than that? What else is possible? So always be in question. And then you notice, okay, now my old paradigms are kicking in, my old belief systems are kicking in, my addiction to patheticness is kicking in. All right, interesting point of view, and just let it go.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So the less you entertain it, the less, you know, it comes. So after some time, it's like, you know, when you if you don't entertain it, and if you don't entertain it, and if you don't entertain, then gradually new pathways get created, right? So it's just like that. As long as you allow it to come on that path will keep getting solidified. But the day you say, okay, you know what, gates closed, not interested, you know, please go away, destroy and uncreate it. Over a period of time, it may not necessarily happen overnight, but over a period of time, you notice that the way you look at yourself, the way you treat yourself becomes very different. So please stop judging you.
Yeah. Sure.
When you receive all of that love and care and support, how does it get any better? So let the universe show you even more and more of that. Okay?
Yeah.
So keep
Sure.
Shankar, you have your hands up. Would you like to unmute yourself?
Yeah. Oh, Smriti, just tell me, in my case, what happens is it's always the love and affection goes up and down. And when I say up and down, it's either 0 or 1. And I get stuck there.
So love and affection from somebody,
Family,
from you.
family and friends.
Okay.
Family, basically.
Okay. So what point of view do you have about your family?
Right now, I don't have any point of view about my family because I stopped keeping a point of view.
Okay.
I'm taking it as it comes.
Okay. So truth, do you have any point of view? Truth.
No.
Okay. So then if you are not loved and supported, does it make a difference to your life?
Emotionally, yes.
So you do get affected by it.
Yeah, either way, both ways I get affected. Either I'm too happy or I'm too sulky.
When are you too happy?
When I'm being showered by affection kind of stuff, or at least I get some kind of attention.
Okay. So you would like more of that?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
I would like to be happy.
So here's a question I would ask you to stay with and see
Mhm.
what shows up. So what point of view do I have that keeps me from being, that keeps me from having loving, caring, nurturing relationships with my family? Okay. Now, there are a few aspects to it. Okay. So sometimes it is just that there are certain people in our environment who are not capable of being that way. Okay.
Okay.
So there can be an awareness that this is the way the person expresses themselves. And this is their
Okay.
way of, because everybody speaks a different language of love. And so there will be times when there are certain people in the family who genuinely don't care. And so they cannot be that way with you. Or they are, but they are expressing themselves in a way that is not your language of being loved. So it's a different language that they speak. Okay. So there is something that works very beautifully in changing. Again, one can't say that it will change equations, but there's a very beautiful, there are these beautiful tools that we can use in our relationships and see what that creates. So one is destroying and uncreating our relationships every day. So like family is, a set of people that we interact with on a day-to-day basis. So if you would like to try this out, it's a tool that has helped me a lot. So on a
Okay.
daily basis, you say everything that my relationship with so-and-so was, so put your family member's name there, up until now, I destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, what, what, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So you destroy and uncreate your relationship with a person on a daily basis. So like, let's say if you do this at the end of the day, so everything that my relationship with so-and-so was today, I destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, what, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And so what happens is, it's not like you're destroying the relationship as in we know the word destroy, but it basically destroys, uncreates all kinds of judgments, points of views, etc. And everything that our relationship is, with all of those points of views, those beliefs, those judgments, etc., it kind of clears that. And the next morning when you wake up, it's a clean slate that you wake up with. So again, you have a clean slate from which you can start your relationship today. So if you do this over a period of time, you let go of a whole lot of stuff energetically, using this clearing statement, and you notice that some shifts are occurring and some space opens up between people, and sometimes it results into dialogues, and things change and things turn. But again, you can't be vested in the outcome that it must change and this is how it must change. Number one.
Right.
Number two that you can do on a daily basis is destroy and uncreate all, the projections that are put upon you. So all the projections, expectations, separations, rejections, and judgments I have put upon that person, I destroy and uncreate it. And also all the projections, expectations, separations, rejections, and judgments I have had put upon me by that person, I destroy and uncreate it. And you say right, wrong, good, bad, what, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So all the projections, expectations, separations, rejections, and judgments you have put upon your family, will you now destroy and uncreate it all, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, what, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, and everything that your relationship with your family is, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So there will be certain families where the functioning may be disharmonious, and there will be certain families where there may be very harmonious equations. So be willing to see. And if at any point of time you come to an access class or a relationship class, there's something very beautiful. There's a topic called 5 elements of intimacy. And when you bring in those 5 elements of intimacy, and your prime relationship is with you, so when you bring it in with you and you change the way you function with yourself, and if you bring in those elements of intimacy with everybody in who you interact with, you will notice that the dynamics of your relationships start changing big time. But primarily, your prime relationship is with you. So you've got to have those elements with your own self. And summarily, it's basically treating yourself with regard, which is honoring you, and it's having gratitude for you, being vulnerable with you, and trusting yourself to be who you are, and being an allowance of you. These are the 5 elements. If you function from there, that's something you can go in detail in a class on relationship or in your foundation class. And that's something very beautiful.
I'll certainly do
Please
that.
start uncreating your relationship every day, and start destroying and creating your projections every day. Okay?
Yeah. Smriti, I also need to thank you for that Acknowledging Me challenge program. It has really helped me in knowing myself. Also, destroying all the negativity in my body.
Awesome.
I'm very healthy, and I can say that I'm back 20 years.
Yay. And how does it
Yep.
get any better?
Yep.
So I believe
Thanks to you.
to get rid of your insulin.
Yeah. Insulin, tablets, everything kind of.
Awesome. How does it get any better? Yay.
Yep. Thanks to you. It was just a,
It's your choice
I need to say gratitude, or whatever you might call it as.
to
I
yourself.
owe it to you. I owe it to you too.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for choosing. It's your choice that created that change.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
thank
Bye.
you. Thank you for using the tools. And I would love to see more faces in action. I see a lot of names. Do put your videos on. And yay, thank you. That feels so nice. At least I know who I'm talking to. I see faces, I see smiles. I get to see you all. Thank you. Thank you for turning your videos on. I appreciate it. All right. So there's the girl gang with Sunita. So nice. Thank you so much. Awesome. All right. So let's talk about judgments. Are we on top of it? Or are we underneath them? So, so I would love to hear from some of you. What happens to you when somebody judges you? And judgment, by the way, judgment, even positive judgment is a judgment, and even a negative judgment is a judgment. But let's start with, and we will cover both if you like, but let's start with the negative judgments. So how do you, what occurs for you when somebody judges you? I'd love to hear from some of you.
Ma'am, one feels you're not good enough.
Okay,
You feel angry.
you feel angry. Okay,
Initially, I am upset. I am very upset. And then
Yeah, even I get
and now
stuck.
I've learned to think about it and about the other person's point of view and why they are judging me. And so then I calm down and I talk it through to myself and it gets better.
okay,
I try to figure out why. Yeah.
okay,
I get too worked up with it.
okay.
I think my self-judgment is something which really takes a toll on me.
I become very
Others'
scared.
judgment, I can process.
Others' judgment, Sunita, what did you say?
Others' judgment, somehow I can process it and I'm okay with it. But the judgment, self-judgment is a little bigger stuff to deal with.
Okay,
True. I tend to go into a reaction. I react. I
okay.
become
You react. Okay. So, yeah, Anita, you were saying something?
I said that what she said is true, you know. Finally, it is you judging yourself that is more difficult to process.
Okay.
And when it comes from a very loved one, like maybe your kid or your husband or whatever, as much as you try to process it like the others say, that doesn't happen at times.
Yeah, you get upset.
Yeah, it gets very hurting.
Yeah.
No, it's not their fault. It's just their point of view. I understand that, but still,
Yes.
Down there it hurts. No. I don't mean that. I'm not that kind. That kind of thing. I'm not the person who you see me to be. That kind of thing. And I can't go on saying that, They have to understand that. But then maybe again it is my...
Okay, cool.
I project myself. That is also there.
Good.
Nobody else to blame.
Okay. So thank you for all the responses. Thank you for sharing that. So let me start from this place. Do you agree, at least theoretically, okay, if not practically, do you all agree that you're infinite beings?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, agreed that we're all infinite beings?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're on record, okay?
And you go on YouTube. Just a reminder.
Yeah, we are on Facebook. And you will go on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh God.
Okay. So now, if you are an infinite being.
Sorry, is this going on Facebook and YouTube?
Yes.
Oh, my opportunity to be a celebrity. Yes, I am an infinite being.
That's my darling husband, Harry.
Hi, Harry.
Get him lots on Facebook.
Hi, Harry.
So,
Just to remind you,
if you're an infinite being, is there anything that you are not? If you are an infinite being, can you be everything?
yes. Yes.
Let's go theoretically right now. If you're an infinite being means you can be everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, true that.
So you can also be whatever they have decided you are.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
What is a judgment? A judgment is just a point of view. Okay, a judgment is just a point of view. From where the other person, right now I'm talking about, about somebody else judging you. So when that person is judging you, they're seeing you from a point of view. Yeah. So now let's say if we were all in a big room together and we all had drawing materials and we were all perfect at drawing, like all of us were equally skilled and we had equal amount of materials. Everything was like same. No advantage, no disadvantage. And we all drew a multi-dimensional object, which was on one end of the wall. Tell me, would everybody's drawing look the same? No. Why? Because everybody is looking at it from a different point of view.
Yes.
Yeah. So for some people who are looking at it from the front, it will be a flatter drawing. For people who are looking at it from one side, it would be an angular drawing. So naturally, everybody's drawing will not look the same. Now, whose drawing is right and whose drawing is wrong?
There is no right.
Nobody's drawing is wrong. Everybody's drawing is right. Right from their point
of view.
So no point of view is wrong or bad. It is just a point of view which is right from their point of view.
Their point of view.
So the point is that when somebody delivers a judgment at us and we go into a reaction, it is because it's either from a place of aligning and agreeing with it, and so you turn around and you think, I'm not good enough because that's how they've decided you are, or you resist, reacted, how dare you say that to me?
Right.
That's not true. And because it is not true, it feels horrible. It feels contractive because our body has a way of showing us what is true and what is not true. So when something is not true, it feels heavy for you. You contract. But when something is true, you feel light. So like, let's say there's a particular habit you have. It's not the best habit. And somebody turns and tells you, you all the time you do like that, huh? And what do? You laugh, and technically they're judging you, but you laugh. Why? Because you know it is true. You do that a lot, huh? You're quite a bully, huh? And let's say you are one of those, you are quite a bully in your relationships, and you just laugh because it feels like, because it's true. And if somebody says, you are quite a bully, when you're really not being a bully, it's a lie, you'll feel heavy. You will react. Okay? You'll feel, how can this person say this to me? This person doesn't understand me, right? This person really doesn't know me. And what gives this person the right to say this? So we go into a reaction because we are either trying to align and agree with their point of view or resisting. Normally reaction is, you're resisting that point of view, or you're also, aligning and making yourself like less and wrong and bad. So that is what we tend to do. We either align and agree or we resist, react. But what if you were willing to look at it as just an interesting point of view? Okay? So normally you will live as the effect of the judgment. You will get buried by the judgment if you are not willing to be allowance. Allowance is being interesting point of view. Interesting point of view that they have this point of view. Listen, you can't stop anybody from having a point of view, can you? How many people's points of views will you shut down? Which means you will always be living as the effect of other people's opinions and points of views about you. So the way to be on top of it is to be allowance, to be interesting point of view. So it's just an interesting point of view they have. So when you will not align and agree with it, you will not get stuck in the polarity of right, wrong, good and bad. Yeah, and it'll not stick you. You will be able to receive it. So one way is put your barriers down and be willing to receive. It's just a point of view. That's all it is. Nothing more than that. And then if you see some merit in that point of view, yeah, you know what? Because it'll not have made you feel horrible. You'll say, yeah, there's a bit of truth in that. And there is a scope for me to change this about me. If there's something that is contributive to you, take it from that perspective and implement it. But if it is not true, it's a lie, you don't have to be at the mercy of it and be at the effect of it and sulk for 2 days and 3 days and 5 days. And someone like me sulked for 10 years. So why make your life so miserable, yeah? It's just a point of view. If that's how they see you, that's how they see you. The choice, how you function, is in your hand. And you've got to be willing to see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. If somebody has a point of view about how you function, but if that is working for you, you go ahead and continue to function. That's just a point of view. So when somebody is delivering a judgment at you, interesting point of view that they have this point of view. In your head, not, interesting point of view, you have that point of view. That's not an interesting point of view. That is you having a point of view about their point of view. Okay? Because sometimes we can, interesting point of view. You know? That's not interesting point of view. Interesting point of view is genuinely that, yes, it is your point of view. It's from your point of view, you're right. That's how you see me from there. And okay, me as, like a Dumbo, yeah, one part of my infinite being is also a Dumbo. Probably that's what you see. Cool, no problem. Okay? And when you're willing to be in allowance, when you're willing to be interesting point of view, you will stop living as the effect of other people's judgments. And let me tell you another thing. So this is something that I learned in, the money workshops of Access Consciousness, and also it's also part of the foundation class. And so when we talk about money, Gary says that when you are willing to receive a judgment with no point of view, like you have no point of view about it, that it's how can they and all of that, it's so horrible, they're so wrong, all of that. If you don't have any of that, and if you're in complete allowance, you receive $5,000 in your account that year. But if you cannot receive a judgment, then you lose $10,000 that year. So it works in your favor to receive judgment with no point of view, but with no point of view. Remember that. Okay. So be willing to receive judgment, because judgment is what? It's a point of view coming your way. It's an energy coming your way. If you're willing to receive the energy, it can contribute to you in creating your life, But if you're rejecting that energy, you're rejecting it because you have a point of view about it, and you've brought in a rightness and a wrongness to it. So a point of view is just a point of view. It becomes a judgment when we make it right or wrong, good or bad. Okay? Otherwise, it's just a point of view. So the more you are willing to be interesting point of view, we call it like IPOV, the more you're willing to be IPOV, the more ease you will have in your life. The less you will be, buried alive underneath the judgments. The less you will be at the effect of that judgment. Similarly, a lot of people cannot receive compliments. Oh my God, that dress of yours is looking so gorgeous. Really? It's 5 years old, Ray. I mean, come on, receive the compliment. But no, we will not receive the compliment. Okay? Or we will align with the compliment. Anita, you're such a kind person, Ray. And Anita will be, yeah. She's aligned with it, okay? And I'm not saying that you're not a kind person. You're a kind person. But again, be interesting point of view. Receive it with grace. Receive it with gratitude. Graciously receive it. But do not again get stuck, because now next time that person is being mean to you, but now you have aligned with, I'm a kind person. Now, if I'm a kind person, how can I respond with rudeness? Now, even when the situation requires you to be a little, firm or rude, you will not be able to, because now you're stuck with the point of view that I am kind. And to be not kind is very wrong. So now you will not be able to stand up for yourself. So whether it's a negative judgment or a positive judgment, you have to be interesting point of view. You are an infinite being, and you can be everything. You are everything. So you are a kind person, but you can also be unkind when that's what is required in that particular situation. You can be rude when you need to be rude. You can be firm when you need to be firm. You are a sweet person, but you can also be like, somebody who is like not exactly very sweet, the opposite of whatever, sweet is. You can be firm in that situation. You can be patient. And again, patience is a virtue. Thinking that impatience is wrong. But in certain situations, you need to be impatient. If you're not impatient, things will never get done only. And then there are certain places when you need to be patient, because only being patient will create something greater. If you try to be impatient in that moment, it will not create the desired results that you want. So you've got to be willing to be everything. Everything. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, all of it is a part of you. And consciousness is including everything, rejecting nothing. So when you are willing to include everything, you can only do that if you're willing to be interesting point of view, because otherwise you will keep putting your barriers up and you will keep living as the effect of everybody's judgments. Is this making sense?
Yeah, Smriti, but sometimes the situation becomes so empowering that patience up, you forget everything, and the reaction becomes so fast, and then you lose I lose my control.
Sure. And when you see that occurring, now don't make it worse by sitting and judging yourself then after that. Okay? Okay, that was an interesting choice that I made to, get like affected by it, bothered by it. All right. that will create an awareness of how you can choose to be the next time. Because see, when we are sulking, when we are, beating ourselves up, what is our energy like? Not very happy energy, right?
Dead duck.
And then when you're operating from a very low energy, low vibration, then everything that you do comes from that vibration. And then everything that you say comes from there. And then you create more and more nonsense for yourself. You create more of low vibration stuff for yourself. So be willing to be interesting point of view and not be at the effect of, everything that is coming your way. And, by and large, over a period of time, if you keep practicing and using these tools, you will notice that you respond or you react much lesser. Like there was a time.
I was about to tell you that with practice only it will come.
Yeah. So can you
Sure.
please acknowledge the progress you have made, Darpana?
Yeah, like earlier, if I would brood for too long, but now I just let go.
Yes.
Just let go.
Yeah. And it's also not so much about, okay, let it go. It's just recognizing that it's an interesting point of view. And also, just because...
No, genuinely.
Huh? Go ahead.
No, just because actually it troubles my body, mind, everything.
Yeah. So
that is why I just want to come out of it.
Yeah. So you're not enjoying it, right?
Right.
So
not at all.
Think of it like this. If you have a physical situation and taking a particular thing like a tablet or a particular food or something or a herb, if it takes away that trouble, that symptom or that, problem from your body, would you not take it?
Yes, I will.
Yeah. So similarly, if you know that being interesting point of view is what will get me out of living as an effect of other people's, behaviors and concepts and whatever, will you not use that tool? So my invitation to you is use the tool again and again and again. Now, having said that we've got to be conscious and we've got to include everything and we've got to be in allowance, let me also say on top of that allowance does not mean, being in allowance does not mean that you have to be a doormat. Being in allowance is that I am willing to, I receive you with no point of view. I am aware of how you function and what you do and all of that. However, I'm not judging you to be right, wrong, good and bad, but I want you to know that this doesn't work for me. That's the energy of being in allowance. So you're not judging the person, but you are aware of how they function and you are acknowledging that this doesn't work for me and you're letting the person know, hey, this doesn't work for me. And you mean it. But if you will do it from the place of judging the person, then the person will not be able to receive it. But if you do it from a place of allowance, that is, so there's a very thin line between awareness and judgment. Awareness is, I am aware that this person can get very violent. And judgment is, oh, this person gets violent and this person is really bad. No. So I'm aware that this is how you function and this is how you speak. But this doesn't work for me. So let's talk when you can speak in a different way that works for me too. I can't hear you. I can't receive you when you talk like this. Right? So, like, I remember there was this time when I had gone home. I mean, I'd returned home from my day's work and whatever. And, something must have been going on in my universe. And I kind of got a little cranky with my mom. And I guess, we've all done it, with our parents, and all of my family would have done it with her. And that day, you know, she just turned around and she said, you know what? I'm not your punching bag. So I'd like you to speak nicely to me. And I'm like, whoops. It had not even struck me. Like, you know, it was like, you know how it is? You just went at the person you're very close to. But hello, that person is also a person, you know, and there's just that much that, you know, she will deal with. And she just turned around and told me this. That doesn't mean she didn't love me, but she stood up for herself. And she didn't make me wrong, but she said, it doesn't work for me. I would like you to not use me as your punching bag. It was a request she made, and very firmly. And from that day, never again did I speak like that to her ever again after that. So it may not have occurred to me on my own, but the fact that she brought it to me in that manner, it struck home. And I could receive it because there was no judgment. Right? She just told me very clearly what didn't work for her. So sometimes, if that's what you need to be, that person who is, you know, who needs to say what you need to say, then say it. But if you say it from a place of no judgment, then it will be, chances of it being received are great.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
And now I invite all of you to look back at a time when you required something from somebody, a behavioral change, and you said it without judgment. Think back. Whenever you have done it without judgment, you've been able to create something different. But when you did it from a place of judgment, you could not change it. Because when we judge, and what we judge, we solidify. Okay? So interesting point of view is a fabulous tool. Use it. And you will not live as the effect of judgments. So that's what I wanted to share today. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Hi, Harry, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, can I just add on a point to this very last one that you mentioned?
Yeah.
So my experience on this one actually is with our daughter. I have to say our, right? So guys, that's my wife who's giving all this gyan. Yeah, so the one learning that I've gotten from her is, you know, it's reflected in the relationship that me and my 14-year-old daughter now have. So previously there was this judgment and an expectation that she should change her attitude, behavior, to align with the way I wanted it. So, you know, in a similar way that you were explaining the language of love to Shankar, similarly. And then over time, I guess, you know, with this kind of stuff that I get to listen to at home, I started developing what my wife generally calls that muscle or that habit of trying to get into a non-judgmental mode. And you know, over the last few years, the relationship that me and my daughter now have is, you know, it's swung massively.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
I completely vouch for that. I mean, the way we function as a family is beautiful. And how does it get any better? And I say that because I am so grateful, because all my life I dreamed of having a harmonious family. That was something that I didn't experience as I grew up. And this was what I chose. So darlings, no matter where your relationship is with your families, be willing to choose something greater for yourself. Okay? But without expectation, without being vested in the outcome. Choose and see what is required. And change the judgments from within. Yeah? And be willing to have your own back. And be willing to see what works for you and what doesn't. Because very often we are not willing to stand up for ourselves, because at least I can only say from my space how it used to be, that, oh my God, if I stand up for myself, then, I have these 5 friends, I will lose these 5 friends also. So I keep quiet and I keep quiet and I keep quiet, or I've been taught, oh, I have to only be nice and I cannot be anything else. So I live as a finite being, but now I'm willing to live as an infinite being. And if an infinite being could choose anything, what would I like to choose now? And what point of view do I have that creates these unsupportive relationships in my life? Because there's got to be some point of view somewhere from some time, some lifetime, that is creating it in the first place. It wouldn't get created otherwise. Yeah, Harry.
Just to clarify, that relationship swing with my daughter that I spoke about, I craved for that love and attention, or rather I craved for more of it than I used to get. And I used to think that she's being very conjuice and giving me only so much when I actually desired so much. And then I got into this, this getting rid of judgments and having this expectation and expecting her to do it the way I want. So from being neutral or passive, it's now actually gone to my desired level. And funnily enough, I'm going to actually show off a little bit of that. I don't know if you guys can see this. So this is my mug that my daughter had given me. And just coincidentally, it just happens to be my mug right now next to me. Okay, sorry, I took too much of your time.
Not at all, not at all. So please choose for yourselves, and start with treating yourself with regard. Okay, yes, we all have our flaws, and yes, we all have our areas of weakness, but we also have our strengths, and we also have the beauty, and we are everything. And we are infinite beings, and we are a gift. So let's start treating ourselves well. Okay, Darpana, Pinky, let's start treating ourselves well.
Yes, I will. I also started having less cold drinks, like we had mentioned a few workshops ago.
Okay.
And now I have some healthy stuff. Not that I wouldn't have healthy stuff. I've always loved soups and salads. But now, right now, instead of making myself a sharbat, I took a lassi Tetra Pak instead.
Cool.
Again,
cold drink is not bad in itself, but you've just got to be willing to see what works for your body.
Exactly. So instead of getting addicted and then craving for it every single day, it's better to quell it, nip it in the bud, like instead of having it every 2 days, 3 days, then you start panning it out. So then you begin to have it once in 1.5 months, which is good enough,
Great. Awesome. So, Darpana, you have said something here, even after staying together for so long, why do people judge you? Listen, we are entrained to judge. Okay, the moment we started moving around after being born, like we were maybe, 9 months, 1 year, or maybe 2 years or 3 years, but when we started like doing things, moving around, don't do this, don't do that, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. That's all we've heard. Everything gets classified in good and bad, right and wrong. So that is the natural way of functioning as far as we are concerned. We are entrained to judge. Everything has to be classified into right, wrong, good, bad. And so we grow up like that. That's the only way we know how to function. So people are entrained to judgment. You and I, all of us do it. It's not like others do it and I don't do it. No, we all do it. But as we become parts of conversations like these, workshops, where we talk about this, and we have these perspective shifts and we have new awarenesses coming up. Okay, by me judging others, what is it creating? Nothing wonderful. I'm solidifying what I really don't like by judging it. Okay, cool. I'm going to withdraw that. How do I withdraw that? By being interesting point of view. All right, I'm living as the effect of other people's judgments. And that's not creating anything wonderful for me. I feel horrible. I feel shitty. So how do I change that? By being interesting point of view. So the more I start living as that and I start using that tool and I build that muscle, like Harry said, the less I become the effect of judgments. The less I am living underneath judgments, I'm more on top of the judgments. I'm not living as the effect, but I affect. So that is my invitation to you. Build this muscle up. The more you will build this muscle up, the more you will choose consciousness over unconsciousness, the more your life will heal. Whether it's your body, whether it's your relationships, whether it's money, everything can heal because healing is a side effect of consciousness. If you're going to sit with grudges and hurts and pains and anger, if that's what's going on within you, you will get more of it outside of you. The more you will believe that you are a victim. See, everybody treats me like this. I'm such a victim. If that's your point of view, even if you're not physically saying it, but energetically you are expressing it through your thoughts, feelings, emotions, if that's how you're functioning, then you are going to keep creating situations where you will be treated like a victim. I did it big time. I have a PhD in it. Till I had to pay a price for it. And I said, okay, you know what? I am done with trading my life for victimhood. I'm not going to live as a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm an infinite being. And I ran that clearing a lot. What energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, possibilities can me and my body be? To be the infinite being I truly be. Okay? And I constantly work at that, to live as an infinite being instead of a finite being. Have I arrived in life? Perhaps not. But have I created a life I love? Yes. I am so grateful for the life I have created for myself. But I have had to choose again and again not to align and agree, not to resist and react, and to be allowance. Okay? So please look at this, my loves. Look at this. And I don't know whether some of you must have been on that call where I talked about triggers. When somebody's particular behavior triggers you, you cannot judge. Yeah, you cannot judge something that you yourself have never been or done before. It may not be in this lifetime, but you would have done it in some lifetime. And that's why you recognize it for what it is. And so you get triggered by it because you have judgments about yourself when you did all of that. So when something like that is occurring, you can free yourself by running, everywhere I have been there and I have done that. Across lifetime dimensions and reality, I destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, online, shots, boys and beyonds. I run this a lot. Anytime I catch myself judging a certain kind of a behavior, I know I have been there and done that at some point of time. And I pod and pocket. Like pod and pocket is short form of right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shots, boys and beyond. So I pod and pocket. Wherever I have done that, everywhere I have been there and I have done that. I pod and pocket, I pod and pocket, I pod and pocket. So please do that, because that's, you judging somebody is because you have a judgment of it, of yourself from a time where you have done it or you have been it. That's another great, great tool. In fact, it's one of my most favorite tools. I POV and everywhere I've been there and I have done that. It has freed me immensely from a lot of things which used to stick me.
I totally agree with you.
I learned that clearing from you only, and there are many events where I've used it, and at that point of time I'm still fuming, but then suddenly I have this space where hey, it's gone types.
Yeah, fantastic. And how does it get any better?
Simplest places, I would have used that on autopilot. I would have used it. But right now, I'm in a space where a lot of self judgments is going on, and what I'm doing is I'm just letting it come over, because I was reading certain books and exploring certain things, and I wanted to go more deeper into the belief systems, and I want to dig in deep, and I want to get rid of certain belief systems which has hampered me to create something good for me.
Yeah.
So that really bored me so much, and it's taken an upside down turn where I've started judging so much, and I'm like, oh bloody shit, I did this to me, that to me, this is how I was energetically being this person, that person. It's like constantly it's going on and on and on. And I shared with Sunita the other day, I'm like, I'm judging so much about myself, and your poster comes in. I was like, okay, Smriti heard me.
So when you judge you, do you feel great? Okay. Okay, tell me a dish that you hate the most, that you don't ever touch.
Nothing like that.
Nothing like that. Okay. So let's imagine that there was something that is like really horrible.
Yeah.
And it creates, or maybe by eating that something that creates upset stomach, or it creates a pain in your body. It doesn't like suit your body. It creates an allergic reaction.
Yeah.
When you know that it creates an allergic reaction, will you eat it?
No.
Same thing. So when you don't force feed yourself something that creates allergic reaction, why do you force feed yourself judgment?
Yeah.
Right? So every time you catch yourself doing it, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And gradually you will start being more aware of when you're judging, and you'll say, okay, by judging me, is this creating greater or is it creating lesser? Is it creating my life or is it decaying my life? Oh, it's decaying my life. All right, I'm done with it. I'm over. Okay. So Naina, thank you for your comment. From the day of the trigger call, your responses to trigger is almost gone. Fantastic. Brilliant.
It's been beautiful. From the moment I finished that call, I had a fight with my son. And I stopped myself in the middle of the fight, that time out. I said, the clearing. And it vanished. That energy vanished. It was so beautiful, and I've used it and used it and used it, and I'm so grateful. I can't tell you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for using it. Right? So please be kind to yourself. If you can't be kind to yourself, then that's not really creating your life, is it? Yeah. So I know that it's not a habit, being kind to ourselves, but let's create that habit, no? It's a good habit to have, being kind to ourselves. Yeah. Let's adopt that as our lifestyle. It'll create greater.
Is it good to compliment yourself? Like this compliment karte jana karte. Is it good or?
It's nice to it's nice to acknowledge yourself. It's nice to appreciate yourself, because when you can acknowledge yourself, then you never need to be always looking for validation from others. Then you tend not to become a people pleaser, because you know who you are. You don't need validation. You don't need acknowledgement. So it's not just complimenting yourself randomly, but it's truly acknowledging everything that is that makes you you.
No, basically I compliment myself when I go into a judgment of myself.
Okay.
If you keep that judgment aside, I compliment myself. And you know, I say ki haan, now it's better.
Fantastic. So do that. If that's what works for you, fantastic. Because in the moment that you're judging yourself, if you replace it with acknowledging something wonderful about yourself, it just changes your vibration. You know, it just shifts your energy. So yeah, wonderful. If that helps you come out of it, brilliant. But also acknowledge that judgment and just go, interesting point of view that I have that point of view. And everywhere I have that point of view, I destroy and uncreate it. So you also keep, you know, clearing it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So great. Fantastic that you make this switch. Awesome. So in fact, we did a 30-day, which Shankar was talking about earlier. We did this 30-day journey of acknowledging ourselves. And we acknowledged ourselves, not just the good things about ourselves, but we also acknowledged the times that, you know, we goofed up, but, you know, how we didn't die, how we change things and all of that. So,
Aisha, is this enough? Do you want to add Chole?
Anna, can you mute Pinky, please? So we did this beautiful 30-day journey, and I would invite you to do it for yourself. You know, acknowledge all the wonderful things about you. Acknowledge the times you goofed up, but you know, you're still here. You didn't die. The times you may have goofed up, but you made up for it. You know, so acknowledge the times when you thought that you weren't strong enough or brave enough, and yet you came through from that situation. Acknowledge the time that when you didn't believe in you, but when a situation arose, you responded to that situation with immense amount of brilliance and courage and strength that you didn't even know you possessed. So there will be lots and lots of things about you that require acknowledging, and you haven't acknowledged. You may not have acknowledged all your skills, all your capacities, all your abilities. You just do them. You do a lot of things and you don't even acknowledge it, because in your own eyes, it's just something very ordinary. But the fact that, you know, you cook that one particular dish so beautifully and everybody enjoys it, even if they don't give you a compliment, but they actually enjoy it. The fact that you can cook, acknowledge it. The fact that you can just very casually put some beautiful flower arrangements all over the house and make the house come alive, you know, with those flower arrangements, that's a skill. You may be doing it like, yeah, usme kya hai? You get the flowers, you put them, and it's so easy. But no, it's not something that everybody is able to do with that much ease. You are able to do it. Acknowledge it, you know. So acknowledge all the various ways that you make life beautiful for yourself and for so many people around you. Acknowledge how kind you are. Acknowledge how beautiful you are. Acknowledge all the places that you have been there for other people. Acknowledge the way you have stretched your time or gone beyond yourself for doing something wonderful for somebody. You're an amazing person. And yes, there will be certain parts of you which are not really the nicest or not the bestest. But you can look at it and you can see, okay, you know what? This is beyond me, but this, maybe I can do something about it. And be willing to be doing something about it, but not from a place of judging it. Yeah, if I change this aspect of me, it will create something greater. So I'm going to go ahead and do it, but not from the place of, oh, I do this, so I'm so bad and I need to change this. Not from a place of judging you, but from the place of, you know, being even greater. There's a difference in trying to improve yourself from a place of judgment and trying to change something from a place of knowing that there's a greater possibility and stepping into that greater possibility and choosing that greater possibility. There's a difference.
So we just have to say, I acknowledge this, that's it. For the 30 days.
Yeah, you're just acknowledging it. But wow, that's so cool, I did that, wow. You know, a lot of us, like, I speak all of this from, you know, my own life. when we are people pleasers, and some of us are, I used to be, it's because we want to be liked. We want to be appreciated. We want to be told how wonderful we are. And when we are not appreciated and when we are not told how wonderful we are, we tend to kind of sulk and we tend to sit and go deeper into our self-judgments and all of that. But the point is that the fact that your happiness depends on somebody acknowledging you, somewhere you've got to have a point of view that you're not good enough, that you need to be told by somebody that you are good enough for you to believe that you're good enough. If you didn't have that point of view, you wouldn't be seeking it anywhere. So look at it. And the more you will acknowledge you and the more you will appreciate you, the less you will require it from anybody else. And then you can do things for people, even if you don't get acknowledged, it doesn't make a difference to your life. You do what you do. Whether you're acknowledged for it or not acknowledged for it doesn't matter, because you have acknowledged you. And that's all that matters.
I judge myself from my head to my toe. Like everything, my eyes, my teeth, my braces, my voice. I literally don't like anything. But when Bua acknowledges me and Bua appreciates me, I'm like, okay, I am good. I can be a successful person. It's like way too much. But she helps me, get out of that depression, I can say, or something. And that's it.
So, sweetheart, I don't know whether, do you follow my posts on a daily basis?
Insta, yeah.
So some days ago, I had posted this, that your value is not equal to the judgments and the compliments.
Yes.
You are invaluable. You're an infinite being. Your value is not equal to the judgments that you're given, nor is it equal to the compliments you're given. So please do not equal yourself to any of that. You're way more. You're invaluable.
Yes.
Okay? So please do not define yourself by the judgments you receive and the compliments you receive. Please receive the judgments and the compliments with no point of view. Receive it graciously. Receive it with barriers down. Don't resist compliments. Don't resist judgments. Both contribute to you, provided you have no point of view. Okay?
Yes.
So I'd like to say thank you once again for joining me for this conversation tonight. And keep smiling. Keep choosing yourself. And know that you're precious. You're an infinite being. And treat yourself like one. And be one. Be the infinite being that you truly are. Okay? So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
So very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very contributive.
Thank you. You're so welcome. Thank you so much.